The Gutsy Walk happens each and every year in communities right across the country, and Ottawa is no exception to that. This year's Gutsy Walk is happening on June 5th. It raises really important funds for Crohn's and Colitis Canada. Of course, I'm talking, inflammatory bowel disease, Crohn's and colitis. Many people live with this journey, and it can be a very difficult one, and I am so pleased to introduce you to this year's Ottawa ambassador of the Gutsy Walk, Madyson Smith. Madyson, welcome to the show, and her father, Brian. Brian, welcome to you as well. Really excited to have you. Madyson, first of all, tell us about, the honor of being the ambassador. How does that feel?
It feels really good. I'm really proud that I can be the honorary chair for this year.
Yeah, and Brian, as I understand it, the diagnosis was back when Madyson was 7 years old. I mean, it's not just difficult for Madyson, right? It's difficult for the family when you hear something like that. Walk us through sort of that journey, Brian, of diagnosis, because as I understand it, it can be a difficult diagnosis as well.
Sure, thanks. She was diagnosed at 7, so she's 12 years old now. And what she was experiencing was a loss of appetite, and she was losing weight quite rapidly. We were recommended to go to the emergency room at CHEO, where she had some workup done, and things kind of moved really quickly from there. Okay. She was sent for a endoscopy. She was diagnosed right away with severe Crohn's, and she stayed with CHEO as an admitted patient for a little over a week. And when she was discharged home, with a feeding tube. Right. So that was new to us to have a pump and to have her, going to school with the pump. And she's a very, very active girl. She plays competitive hockey. So it meant, too, that she had to adapt to having the pump running in her backpack. We would disconnect it. She would go play hockey. And then after her game, we would reconnect her again. But it was part of her therapy to allow her gut and her stomach to get back to a bit of normalcy until she started with new medications. So it was a shock for us. It was hard,
right?
But we adapted.
How are you feeling today? What is your daily life like? Do you still have some challenges that you go through on a daily basis?
I'm feeling better for sure, definitely, than I did when I was 7 now, because I got put on some medications that made me feel better. I'm happy because I can play hockey without having to have a feeding tube now, which is great.
And this isn't your first.
Some of the experience.
Sorry, go ahead, Brian.
No, I was going to say some of the experiences too that she was sharing earlier at another interview is just during the day. Sometimes you'll have a little bit of pain that's an hour. Sometimes it's for the entire day or half of the day, and she's very choosy on what food she eats, and even some of her favorite food. Some days she likes it, some days she doesn't. So it's almost like a daily adaptation to see how does she feel each and every day.
And as I said, this isn't your first Gutsy Walk. I was on the website and just reading your bio and how encouraging you are, Madyson. Just tell everybody at home how important this Gutsy Walk is to people like yourself.
I'm very happy to do the Gutsy Walk because I'm excited. I get to do it with my family and friends, and I love being around them.
Madyson, how do people get... Sorry, go ahead.
I just love raising money for Crohn's and colitis, so maybe one day there'll be a cure.
How do people get involved in the Gutsy Walk, Madyson?
So there's a website, so gutsywalk.ca, and like you said, it's happening in many cities across the country on Sunday. And this coming Sunday, June 5th, is when the Gutsy Walk is happening, and it's happening at the Terry Fox Athletic Center, which is down at Mooney's Bay. So you go on to that website, gutsywalk.ca, and you'll see Madyson's team is #TougherThanYouThink. And like she said, it raises money for awareness. It raises money for research in medications and different therapies for Crohn's and colitis.
Yeah, and it's such important work, and certainly, as we know, there's no cure yet, but we're always working towards that cure and new treatments. Brian, Madyson, thanks so much for joining us. Really appreciate it. And I'll just reiterate the fact that this is a really family affair, by the way. It's non-competitive. Again, gutsywalk.ca. It's happening June the 5th. You can help raise money for Madyson's team or as an individual. Thanks for watching. We'll see you next time.